All right, it's a rainy morning here. I have merely a third cup of coffee left. Do we dare a second cup? I don't know. I don't know. Probably have to warm that up anytime now, but until then, let's check the wider world of Atari. This is the DLC. There was two DLC kind of sections. This is the first one. So let's check it out. The original influencer from arcade innovation to console domination, Atari defined interactive entertainment for millions of people. Over the years, the company's legacy has been extended and preserved by programmers, players, and ardent fans who identify as both. Born in the arcade, not only did Atari design and manufacture games in the 1970s, but the company also maintained machines at locations around Northern California as an extra source of income. A steady stream of new coin-operated titles became essential to the young company's success. The birth of Breakout. One of Atari's biggest successes was an even bigger surprise to Atari's lead engineer. Al Alcorn explains how Breakout came to be.
Breakout was really early. Yeah, it's a ball and paddle game, right? And it was really an idea for Nolan to do that. I mean, he had a lot of ideas, and he was the guy that went around me and corralled Jobs into designing this, not knowing that Jobs wasn't an engineer and couldn't do that. And Jobs wasn't about to tell him, but his buddy was, who was just the sweetest, brightest savant. And I come in and Steve Jobs says, "Hey, look at this." And here is a finished game, Breakout, that was not under development. Understand, typical games took a few months to develop. It was like, got dropped in from outer space, finished game, working prototype. What? And Jobs says, yeah, he claimed he designed it. And I go, oh, no, he didn't. Bullshit. And I found out later that because Woz was coming in at night, he's working at HP, and he liked HP, but Atari was a lot more fun. So I go in and there's a finished game. I'm going, what the this is crazy. You heard the story. I'll tell you my version because I've seen some different numbers. But as I understand it, Nolan said he would give Jobs a bonus of $1,000 a chip for every chip less than 50 that he was able to do this with. Now, knowing that this had more objects and stuff than Pong did, and Pong was 76 chips, it's a pretty safe bet that Nolan's not going to have to pay a penny for this, right? Again, Woz is one of the most gifted, brilliant men engineering. Woz designs it with like 24 chips. Now, Nolan didn't say you had to be able to buy the chips. So some of the chips were chips out of Hewlett-Packard that you couldn't get. But there was the prototype of the working game. And you look at a schematic and I couldn't understand, how would this thing work?
Steve Jobs being an usurper. All right, let's check out what's down here. Oh, visual storytelling. Arcade games with simple graphics often use the cabinet's marquee and side art to convey a story for the game. For Breakout, the image of a prisoner smashing their way through the logo suggested an exciting escape narrative that merely seeing a ball bouncing into bricks could not. Look at him. Look at him trying to get away. Destroyer, yeah. In Mike Albro's naval action game Destroyer, players use a dial to adjust a horizontal depth line and then attempt to drop charges on the undersea targets. The similar but simpler Canyon Bomber, with no ship speed or depth control, would appear in arcades the same month. Okay, we can play this one. From the Destroyer on the surface, players drop charges on the undersea targets below. An analog control dial was used to adjust the depth of the charge, and a level to select the speed of the player's ship. With a lever to select the speed of the player's ship. Look at this. A really nice job of, emulating these and making them look how they would have looked. I really like that. Press start. I did. Okay, here's this. Wait, how do you... Hold on. Let me just... how to... Controls. All right. Boat speed boost, hold. Release mine, A. All right. All right. Right trigger's the... Depth charge. Oh, what? Oh, it's got a... Oh, boy. All right. I see. No good. Too early. Get him. Yes. What are these subs worth? Oh, got him. 25 points. No. Yes. Oh, I got him. All right. Is it just timed? It's just a high score until the time runs out? Is that all it is? Or that's... Yes. 125 pointers. Puntas, as they say. Nope. All right. Oh, you need 1,500 points to extend your play. I get you. So I'm a little ways off there. Let me finish this copy here before. You know. Maybe I'll go in for the unheard of second cup. We shall see. All right, Destroyer, okay. Colorful promotion. Both English and German promotional flyers for Destroyer's feature bright colors in contrast with the actual game's monochrome graphics. In the picture realism. Look at that controls. There's the lever. Vorus mit Destroyer. Der Spieler ist Kommandant ein Zoroastrus. All right, I don't understand German. Nor can I read it. Here's some more German. Thought I saw Lowenbrow. Superbug. Before creating Fire Truck, Wendy Allen made the single-player driving game Superbug, while graphics were shown on a monochrome monitor. Translucent film overlays made the car appear yellow, and the score appear green. Zoom. Okay. Superbug, in which players avoid hazards while driving a car on a scrolling road, became Wendy Allen's first game for the Atari coin-op division, and was used as the basis for 1978's Fire Truck. Inspired by the popular Volkswagen Beetle, Superbug was developed under the working title City Drivers. City Driver. City Driver. All right, let's hit sorry. Here we go. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right, you can't go up or down. You can only turn... Okay, it's one of these. What? All right. Well, that's how you get it to be yellow, because the car never changes. The car's always in the center. I guess I can't hit those cars. Crunch. Am I supposed to hit those cars? Or I would imagine not, right? I imagine you don't want to hit the cars. There's oil. Is there a way to get fuel, though? Crunch. I hit some sand. You know it's sand because it says sand. So I can tell you with 100% accuracy that it is indeed supposed to be sand. There's some oil. Do those cars give you fuel, maybe? It can't be, right? Bonus for 160. All right, well, it's so-so. Let's try one more. Very slow acceleration for a superbug. Crunch. Oh, I meant to... I think there's a slight, like, delay. Or I have to delay the microphone. Like, there's a little bit of an... It's a little bit off my voice to what I'm actually playing. A little bit. I meant to look into that, and then I forgot. So, if you notice there's a delay, I'm going to try to remember to fix that for next time. It's very small, though. It's very slight. Crash. I feel like I've played this before. I bet you this game is on the... Because I have the... There's like 3 Atari compilations that they did before this. It feels like this might have been on it, because I think... I remember distinctly thinking, like, the oil and the sand are basically... They just basically directly smash you into the wall. So it's the same as hitting a wall. Like, there's no... I don't know if there's a way to... Oh, what? Oh, I died. I don't know if there's a way to not... To, like, come out of the spin and not hit the wall. It seems like it's just automatically you just hit the wall. Anyway, that's Superbug. Superbug's okay, I guess. Here's the marquee for Superbug. Bob Flamate illustrated the VW Beetle for the Superbug marquee based on a design concept by Evelyn Seto. It's pretty good. It's very 70s. I like it. Daring and fast. The English flyer for Superbug promises super thrills, while the German flyer pitches the game to daring men and fast ladies. That's pretty good. Der Tollrenner für Wageslid-Manner. Schnell, Damen and Richende Aufsteller. That's for daring men and fast women. I understand that. Okay. Skydiver players attempted to land safely in the drop zone for big points. For extra novelty, the cabinet's joystick was shaped like the handles of a parachute ripcord. A home version would appear months later. Interesting, but what are the percentage of people that would know what the handles of a parachute ripcord look like anyway? I wonder. Guide your skydiver to the landing platform to win at Owen Rubin's straightforward test of skill. Once the chute is deployed, keep an eye on the wind speed and direction to keep your jumper on target. All right. So, let's check and see what the buttons are. I bet you they're the right and left trigger. That's what I would make them. Oh, no, it's just right and left. Open parachute. Okay. A and then down on the right stick to open the parachute. Okay. All right. Here we go. And no, I opened. Okay, yeah. All right. Because it's a race, then. Ooh, he died. Because it's a race. Oh. 3 misses per player. Extend. All right, let's try again. I see now. So, obviously it's easier to open. Obviously, it's easier to open your chute higher, but you're slower that way. Beep, 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 beep. Come on, go, go, go. What the heck? I screwed up. Oh, get the ambulance come to get me. Why is his thing so small? Oh, okay, I get. Oh, you can't go over the thing. All right. So the actual the points that you get for landing, they go up as you fall without your chute open. So the longer you drop without your chute open, the more points it's worth. Very clever. Very clever, Atari. Like that. Yeah. Oh, I forgot what button was what. Oh, I screwed up. Screwed up too early. Too early for the big points. But I guess I am ahead here. The wind, the wind, the wind. Oh, I screwed up. All right. All right. That's kind of pretty good. That's actually kind of fun. That would be fun with 2 players. Looks like we're spelling skydiver up top. Does it say there's no like how to play? Is there? Letting skydiver spell out awards double score bonus. All right. I don't know how you get that, but that's pretty cool. All right. I like that game, actually. Do enjoy that game quite a bit. Flyer and postcard. Skydiver received a boost in awareness from a flyer as well as a postcard, which also advertises an unusual 2-in-1 cabinet, which would maximize floor space in crowded areas. Arcades. Who would send, like, where would you, like a postcard? Do people actually send the postcards? I guess if you had it postage, well, no, they wouldn't be, though. Oh, here's a skydiver. Blah, 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 blah. The realism of actual skydiving. Wind direction indicated by video windsock is random and variable. Watching airplane speed, wind direction, and position of target. High-risk scoring challenge. As long as the jumper is in free fall, yeah, we figured that out. Look at these guys. Coinage. All right. Atari introduces 2-game module. Oh, there's one on the other side, I see. Is that it? Is that what's going on? It's hard to tell from that picture. And the ultimate for maximum profits per square foot and fits into any location. Oh, 2-player. Avalanche and Superbug included in one and Breakout and Sprint 1 in the other. 2-game module places 2 games back to back. Less than 6.5 square feet of space, which is excellent for many smaller locations. Skydiver. Jim Huther says he started programming the home version of Skydiver before even learning about Owen Rubin's coin-op version. Perhaps great minds think alike? The resulting Skydiver, 2 words instead of the arcade version's 1 compound word, became an early VCS hit. Well, there's nothing in the back. Let's check out this art. Atari art. Again, awesome. Very evocative. Like, it fills in all the blanks for your mind, you know. When you're a kid, especially, like, I would stare at this stuff. It just gives you this context of what you're doing. It's really good. Let's play it. Inspired by the arcade game Skydiver. Pressing the button causes the diver to leap out of the plane overhead, and pulling down on the joystick deploys the chute as the player aims for the matching color platform below. Sears issued the cartridge under the name Darediver because they wanted to be different. All right, so let's start. Did it. Oh. Got to pay attention to the wind here. So we want to go something like this. I keep forgetting how to... It's a high-pressure situation, I tell you. So when it's strong wind, you can't go left at all. All right, so you got to be more... I need to be on this side of it. All right. There. Doesn't seem to be... Oh, maybe it is. It doesn't tell you, but maybe your points are more... Oh, God. Maybe your points are more, depending on how late you pull the chute. I feel like I'm playing a 2-player version here, by the way. Did I get it? Did I give it to me? No. Let's have another go. Wait, let's see. How do you... Wait. Stationary platform, normal size. Small size, moving platform. Oh, it's always 2-player. All right. Yeah, 2 players of the thing. Okay, all right. Well, fine, it's fine. I mean, nothing much to do here if it was only 2 players, but you know, pretty cool game. That would be fun to play. I don't know if some of these are very my memory is very sketchy as to whether it looks familiar, but I don't know if I had that as a kid. Let's check out this art. How good is this art? Look at that. Got that. You got the arrow pointed down. He's going down. He lands on the landing spot. And there's the plane dropping the dude. It's so good. All right. Avalanche. Avalanche players catch rocks that fall from the top of the screen. Speed increases. Rocks become smaller and intentionally irritating. White noise becomes progressively louder to break the player's concentration. That's good. Larry Kaplan cited Avalanche as a direct inspiration for his Activision game Kaboom. Kaboom's a good game. Man, when do we get an Activision compilation of Atari 2600 games? Because that's where it's at. Like, that's where the games That's where the best Atari games are. But anyway, I digress. I digress. Play. In a nod to Pong's famous player instructions, Avalanche's control panel says, catch falling rocks for high score. The irritating white noise heard while catching rocks in the player-controlled buckets below is entirely intentional. It's a design tactic to break the player's concentration. That sounds like someone just being a dick. That's what it sounds like to me. All right, how do you play this? Start? I died somehow. I'm not sure what... Like, I'm losing buckets, right? I guess when the buckets get full, you lose them? Or just the longer you go. Whoa. It's hard game. Players want challenges, though. It's another one with a colored overlay on it. Game over. All right. This game does not capture my imagination in the way that I was hoping it would. It's okay, though, I guess. What we looked extended play off. This is allowed 3 on 5, 3, 5, 3 English. Espanol. All right. Infinite play, almost. Avalanche's promotional flyer notes players can play Avalanche indefinitely as long as they don't miss. I guess it just means there's no end, right? But, you know, as an arcade guy, you probably don't want that. Look out for falling quarters. Careful. Careful, you have some quarters fall on you. Avalanche. Launched as a mail-order initiative in 1981, the Atari Program Exchange, APX, created an indie publishing avenue for amateur programmers, but sometimes pros too. Both the arcade and APX versions of Avalanche were programmed by Dennis Coble. After publishing hits like Caverns of Mars and Dandy, Atari discontinued APX in 1984. So what is this? So this is like the 800 or 400 computers? Like, whoa. Because Atari home computers are so versatile. People with a variety of interests use them, and many of the people develop creative programs. Atari home computer. All right, this is just a... The home version of Avalanche was programmed by the same person who created the arcade version, Dennis Coble. The gameplay remains the same, use paddle controls to catch falling rocks, but the home computer version adds colored graphics and upgrade from the monochrome coin-op. Okay, so we're really close to the top of the screen in this one. Man. So you clear all the rocks? Is that how you... What? How... That was weird. I couldn't move there. Not sure what happened. Oh, it's a player. It's a two-player. Okay. Wait, how do you? Is it only two-player? Did I mess up, or was there a way to play one player? There must be a way to play one player. Go get that. Go get that. Dead. The end. All right. Well, you know, it's the same game, and it's not really my favorite. Although Kaboom is good. If we can only play Kaboom. Kaboom is good. APX software stacks up, promoting both the depth and breadth of the 1983 APX library. This magazine ad touts APX creators as experts in the fields of not just games, but also telecommunications and personal productivity. Why user-written software really stacks up. Look at this. Look at all these cassettes. Look at this guy and his tower of cassettes. You think this was just a picture, or do you think this is like a... I think these cassettes are like a painting or something. They look real. Anyway, what we got here? Atari football. While Atari suggested using joystick controls to keep costs down on football, mechanical engineer Jerry Lechak created a roller controller that was affordable enough to appease management. In a nod to real-world coaching diagrams, Atari football represents players as simple X's and O characters. Oh, this is not going to be... Visually reminiscent of football coaches' playbooks, Atari football offers a simplified version of American rules football with two players using analog trackball controllers. The scrolling playfield was an important innovation for sports gaming. Look at this. Wow. Okay. I mean, you know, I think this is only going to be two players, right? Your defense. How do you... Oh, I see. Your defense. So there's 4 plays. I have what? Why is nothing? 1 down, 5 to go. Oh, am I offense? Maybe I'm offense. Okay, I don't understand this game at all. And I think it's only 2 players, so, you know, interesting. But, like, nothing that really wets my gizzard, you know what I mean? Jerry Lechak found that trackballs for air traffic control centers cost $350 to $800. Management said, well, it's too expensive, forget it. We'll use a joystick. So Jerry came up with a trackball that we know and love. Trackball? Air traffic control centers have trackballs. It was still more expensive than a joystick. So there was still some griping, but my griping was, no, the game's not worth doing it if you don't do it with the trackball. Promotional flyer. Based on the X&O playbook's aesthetic, the flyer for football calls the game a chalk talk that moves. Defense can 1-4. New added coin feature can continuous time play. Versatile new cabinet. Built-in self-test. Video representation is a chalk talk that moves. The game sets up with 7-man offense and 7-man defense. Each player pre-program play. The offense selects one of 4 run a pass plays. The player. The object is to anticipate what the opponent's play selection will be, then outmaneuver him for either effective defense or long yardage offense. The player huddle up, line the ball is snapped, the play is on. Each player controls 1 man on his team. Blah, blah, blah. Player, blah, 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 blah. And coin. All right. Well, you know. 4-player flyer. Following the success of the 2-player cabinet, Atari released the accurately named Atari 4-player football, not only doubling the players but adding 5 additional plays, including kicking, as field goals were not an option in the previous game. Oh, interesting. Where's our version of this? Why wouldn't we want this one? How come we don't get a version of this? Maybe it's in the. There is a game library, so it could be there. I don't know if there are games in the game library that don't show up in like the timelines. It's possible. C'est possible. Vector Magic. Atari created just 13 games with vector graphics, 6 of them by 1980. Several have become iconic examples of Atari's coin-op era. Here, developers old and new discuss how vector games required a different perspective on both design and technology.
Vectors are amazing things, right? Like the fact that vector graphics were phenomenal, and they continue to hold up really well. So I think when we look at Tempest or Tempest 2000 or Tempest 4000, I feel like those games of all of the games, those old games have aged the best. Not Tempest specifically, but the vector-based games, and Tempest just being a really incredibly strong example of a vector-based game because it still looks beautiful.
Aesthetically, I just think Tempest is a timeless game. Asteroids is a timeless game.
The old CRTs, the cathode ray tubes, had a beam that would go across the screen very fast, and it would draw the line. So you drew that always. So that was always being drawn, and you could turn on and off the beam, or beams if it's color, red, green, blue in color, and create an image. Vector doesn't do that. Vector, you actually draw the lines. So there is no raster going on. The beam isn't doing this down the screen. If you want to draw a red line that goes like that, you put the beam there and you push it across the screen to there. So you are actually doing an Etch-a-Sketch is the best way to think about it.
One of the interesting limitations and why it's so good for space games on Vector is if you don't draw something, the screen is black. It's not kind of sort of gray, it's black.
If the hardware stopped in a coin-op game, the last picture would stay there. If the hardware stops in a vector generator, it goes black because you have to draw it. You're drawing the beams. There's no raster. There's nothing automatic in that. And I like that as well. That meant I could draw something and I didn't have to worry about it again. If I wanted to move it, I just redrew it over here. Before, you have to erase it from that space and rewrite it over here. Nah, didn't like that. Too much work.
The limitation isn't how many dots you have, it's how many inches of light you have. And a lot of people really love that white on black look.
You could get these really fine details for the time. I mean, if you go back and look at it now, it's not as high res as you think it is, but the ships and the shots and the way it looked, and you could adjust the brightness on an individual item, that bright shot in Asteroids, for example, and that goes across the screen. There's nothing like that. It's just an amazing look, and I wanted to work on it.
We started with black and white. I worked a little bit on Battlezone when I worked on the simulator, which was after Battlezone came out, but if you remember Battlezone, it was green. Those weren't green lines. That was a green template that was over the top that made it green.
I got color when I did Space Duel, which I took over from another programmer who, for some reason, just kind of lost it and left the company and kind of evolved it from what he had started. I wanted more time to work on it, and another programmer was working on Asteroids Deluxe, and I was doing color asteroids. That's what I was doing with it. That's what Space Duel originally started as color asteroids. And they said, we're not going to do that because Asteroids Deluxe just came out. So they gave the hardware and some of the code I did to Dave Toyer, and he did Tempest. And then some of that came back, and I did Space Duel. So you'll see things that are similar that cross through it.
So Vector Sector was born out of the idea of what if all of Atari's vector games existed in the same universe? and we went from there. It was great to talk to Owen Rubin, who created Major Havoc, Space Duel, and when he played Vector Sector, he got through the asteroids phase and he got to Lunar Lander, and he was like, "Oh, you should do this with linked ships," and he didn't know that we'd done that, so that was like a thrill. Also, when we got to the end of the game, we played a linked duel multiplayer game. We got to the end, and he was having a conversation with me. He glanced up and he saw that we had his initials in the high scores as a default high score, and he just threw out a, "Oh, thanks." Yeah, thought that was cool.
All right, so we did play that game, right? Vector Sector? Golden Asteroids. This Golden Asteroids cabinet marked the milestone of 50,000 asteroids machines manufactured. Another 6,000 would be produced before the end of the run. The special machine was playable in Atari's office lobby for several years and currently resides in the offices of Mortal Kombat developer NetherRealm Studios. Oh, interesting. Arcade game not to be sold or moved. Asteroids. Red Baron. The clean, minimalistic lines of Vector monitors were well suited to games with first-person perspective. Released shortly after the tank-based Battlezone, Red Baron places players inside a World War I biplane in a target-rich environment. Atari would return to the cockpit view in 1983 for a space shooter based on Star Wars. Oh, yeah, we're not going to get the Star Wars arcade game, though, are we? All right. Oop. Take the vector-filled skies with this World War I action game, placing players in the cockpit of a biplane. Red Baron is more target shooter than flight simulator. Its airborne military gameplay bridges the gap between two other Atari vector coin-ops, Battlezone and Star Wars. Oh man, the guns on the thing. Was it 2 credits to play? Don't shoot me. Blimps. Oh, I missed the blimp. Got it. Got them. Got the house. Enemy planes. Oh, yes. Let's get this blimp. Oh, God. Oh, no. Blimp? Blimp! It's hard to get the blimp. It's very touchy, the controls. Oh, I got hit by that. Not as smooth as... Star Wars is very smooth. Like... very smooth. And maybe it's because you're only moving the cursor and not the whole screen, right? Because that's how it is in Star Wars. You're just sort of moving the cursor around the screen. I can't destroy these things. They're too hard. No, I got one now. Got one. Uh-oh. Don't hit it. Oh. They're really firing back now. Great score. I do have a great score, don't I? Don't I? How come it's always... How do you go up? It just always goes one way? I don't understand. There. All right. That's cool. Got full glow on, by the way. Red Baron. Skill Sense. Both the operating and cockpit flyers for Red Baron note its Skill Sense technology. If the average length of the most recent games exceeded the operator's target playtime, the game would automatically increase gameplay speed and difficulty. Ew. Sounds nefarious. Oh, it's like a sit-in one. Available and upright and sit down. Look at that. There's the upright. The sit-down was where it was at, though, I guess. Target shoot at players. Target shoot at players. New operator adjustable skill sense feature. High score table. 9 separate sound effects. 4 operator adjusted bonus levels. I have a cat now purring in the mic. Let's see if it registers. Sort of, just barely. All right. That's that. Divisions, coin-op, and consumers. Atari was built on the strength of phenomenal arcade machines, but the Atari VCS home console eventually led the company to even greater heights. Atari veterans from both sides of the success story explain how the coin-op and consumer divisions ultimately worked together.
Well, at the beginning, it was sort of forbidden to consort with the enemy.
First off, we had a vibrant coin-op business that was making money and keeping us in business, and coin-op consumer wasn't making anything. I didn't want to screw with that. I did not want to damage that.
There was a door that said, "Don't even think about entering here." And I was like, I work for this company. I opened the door and walked in. And Al turned around and goes, "What are you doing in here? Who the hell are you? Why are you here?" And so I said, "Well, I work for this company. What are you guys doing?"
Oh, and found out I opened the door between the two places. And what's this? And I'm going, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, we became friends.
I was one of the few people in CoinOp that spent a lot of time in the consumer group, sort of going back and forth.
I believe that Al Alcorn was sincerely concerned that CoinOp would be a distraction on his group, which we're doing a very ambitious project on a very tight schedule.
Other companies like Bally all of a sudden took some of their engineers in CoinOp, and first off, I didn't think these were the right kind of engineers to do consumer. It's a different cost accounting, a different culture. Number two, I didn't want to screw with CoinOp's success.
The arcade games were pretty much in one area, and the consumer people were in another area.
Engineering was upstairs for consumer products. We were downstairs, and I only knew a few of them, and it was because we water skied together.
There really was two separate companies, it felt like, at a time. They had very different development environment. There was no synergy between the two, really, other than that we shared games.
I have been known to joke that the point of coin-op games is primarily selling players their own adrenaline. So you want an intense, fast-pitch game, and you'll blame yourself if it's over in 3 minutes, not the game. A person who pays 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks for a cartridge wants to milk that thing. So the games themselves are different.
Every machine is state of the art. It's all new, fresh, challenging stuff, and it's exciting, and it's real design.
CoinOp gets to use more expensive hardware. They get to use tons and tons of hardware, and they get to refresh their hardware all the time, right? So what's happening is the Atari 2600 chip, the 6502, is a chip you could make in 76. Now, Moore's Law is cruising along, doubling computer power every 3 years, but we're using a chip from 76.
And Atari just had to live with the old technology, but fortunately with programmers figuring out new ways to use it.
But for me, there was no rivalry. It was, they made games and they were interesting ideas, and a lot of them we were going to have to try and copy.
What happened, though, was as the VCS really started to make distribution and really started to get out there, and some games really started to catch on, it became apparent that the profit potential from the home games was actually much higher than it was in coin-op. So I'll tell you another pecking order sign that goes on, which raises a lot of interesting things, both financially and emotionally, is the idea of royalties. Because one big difference between VCS and coin-op was coin-op people got royalties. They got some kind of bonus participation in the success of their games, which VCS people didn't. That got to be a sore point, not between coin-op and engineering, but between VCS and management. And it's like, why aren't we doing that?
Atari had a bonus plan that was based on how your game sold. And then the consumer group wanted their own bonus plan based on how their game sold. So they would take a game designed by the coin-op that was in the arcade, they'd make a 2600 cartridge out of it, it would do really well, they get big bonuses, and we weren't included at all. So there was this kind of like, wait a minute, why are they taking our ideas and we're not included? That was resolved later.
Everybody, identifies as the hero of their own narrative. When you start checking the narratives against each other, that's when you find some interesting differences. And it wasn't, I never felt that coin-op people lorded over us, and I don't think we felt like second-class citizens, but it was well known that coin-op was working on hotter technology, doing cooler stuff, and we were trying to keep up with a technology that was falling farther and farther and farther behind. That's just the reality of it.
They both needed each other, and that's the way most of us looked at it. It was a collaboration, not a competition.
Okay, I think I might dare to dare a second cup of coffee. So allow me to do that. I'll be back in just a minute, and then we'll continue our journey through the wider world of Atari. Look at this one that's coming up here. What's that interesting one? 3 things down. All right. Whoops. Okay. All right. New coffee. I got new coffee. Sears has everything. A dominant force in retail sales in the mid 1970s, the annual Sears Wish Book catalog became the de facto gift guide for millions of American kids. As Atari's premier retail partner, Sears sold Home Pong and VCS under their own Telegames brand, along with 3 exclusive VCS games. They actually, I'm pretty sure we had like some Telegames, and they I don't know if it's obvious from this, but they just work with each other. They're just rebranded. Here's the video arcade. Look at I kind of like that design better than the wood grain, actually, almost. Telegames. Steeplechase. Jim Huther's home version of Lyle Rain's 1975 arcade game utilizes 2 sets of paddle controllers to offer 4-player gaming on the VCS, a rarity in 1980. Players control the speed of their horse, with the paddle control leaping over obstacles as they appear. Use standard paddle controllers. Let's see. In a VCS rarity, 4 players can race against each other simultaneously. In this equestrian title based on early Atari coin-op, paddle controllers adjust the speed of each horse, while hurdles on the track inevitably create chaos and sudden reversals in fortune. All right, this looks like a 1-player game here. All right, how do you play? I think I'm purple at the top. Do you have to... You might have to... You might have to... Yeah. Okay. You're not pressing the button to jump. You're pressing the button to land? Hold on. Look at these guys. Meet the video arcade horses. Little Dictator. Just Missed. Absent Mind. Lucky Devil. Those are nice illustrations. And the lane at the top of the playfield is Little Dictator. Little Dictator is a mean streak. Okay, he's the object of the game. Let's see here. You're jumping each hurdle. Your horse actually has no motion from left to right. Whether you hit a hurdle, your horse loses. Whenever you hit a hurdle, your horse loses some horizontal position. The higher you jump your horse, the easier it is to clear all the hurdles. However, the higher the jump, the more time it takes to clear the hurdles. The height of the jump can be set by adjusting the height indicator bar, which is shown in Figure 1. Using the controllers. This is weird without these spinners, though. Press the red controller button to jump your horse. Turn the dial on the paddle controller to select one of the height settings. You must use the highest height setting. Use the lower height setting to clear small hurdles. Beginners should set the height indicator bar to the highest setting for all hurdles until they get a feel for the game. Okay, am I actually at the bottom? How do you set the... Oh, okay, wait a minute. Okay, you gotta roll... I get it now. It's gonna be hurdling. Okay, I have the high. Excuse me. I have it set to the highest hurdle. So left and right on the thing change the hurdle distance, the hurdle height. So it looks like just on this beginner mode, you can just set it to the highest and just. Okay, you have no control over how far ahead on the thing he is, which seems to be the way to keep players together, because the closer you get to the edge of the screen, the harder it is to see the things coming. All right. Game seems all right. Again, would be fun with a bunch of players. Hey. Alternate art. The dynamic illustration by Steve Hendricks for Steeplechase was ultimately not used in the game's box or manual. Really? Look how nice that is. Shame. Stellar Track, a rare text-only game for the VCS. Stellar Track is based on a strategy game that was a popular mainframe computer game inspired by a popular sci-fi TV show. Which popular sci-fi TV show is that? Players explore quadrants in space, managing their starship's resources while engaging with enemies that they find on the star map. What? Now imagine, though, you buy this. Where does it say anywhere that it's text only? Strategic space combat game. Right? Use the joystick controllers for Telegame's cartridge. Hold the controller and the red button to your upper left. And it says, become the commander of your starship. Starfleet has assigned you the mission of destroying the alien warships. You can use your phasers and photons to fire on the enemy. You have limited star dates and limited energy to complete your mission. So you buy this and you're like, oh, the Star Trek game I always wanted. Based on a mainframe computer games that were themselves inspired by the TV series Star Trek. Stellar Track is a rare text-only game for the VCS. The display shares stats and status updates as players navigate the galaxy and eliminate alien threats under time and fuel constraints. Reading the manual is recommended. Oh, God. Your mission is to destroy 11 alien warships in 15 star dates. 15 star dates. Does that mean 15 days? Who knows? Status. Energy 3000, photons 9. Oh, God. Now, imagine you got this as a kid, though. Like, would you be happy? Some people might, but I don't know, man. Okay. I gotta tell you, right now, I'm bailing. I'm bailing. They should just had a video for that game. Well, it's nice that they included it. That's not fair of me to say. Through a periscope view, submarine commander players must sink enemy ships while managing limited resources and avoiding enemy depth charges. As the last Sears exclusive to appear, Submarine Commander is the rarest of the three. A 360-degree periscope view from beneath the waves elevates Submarine Commander's target shooting gameplay. Manage limited fuel and torpedoes, increases further tension. The faux 3D perspective is an early example of first-person gameplay in consoles. I think I got something. I can't, like... Can I... Oh, I can go up and down. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Sunk it. This game has some good sounds. The water, I mean, I guess they wanted the sky to be blue, but the water should probably be blue, right? I mean, if I had a criticism, pretty cool, like, splash explosions when you hit the boats. Got one of those fast ones finally. I ran out of energy at the bottom. Looks like your energy depletes when you fire too. Let me have a sip of this coffee and see how I feel about this. Oh, it's a strong contender for coffee of the year right there. I don't know if I'm going to have a full second coffee. That might be a level of insanity that I'm not ready to partake in, but for now, we're going to have a couple sips. Just a few sips. Alternate art. Look at this, how good this is. Despite one crew member's enthusiasm, Robin Hunt's original artwork for Submarine Commander was ultimately not used in the game's final box or manual. Oh man, this is better. This is better. Wait, let's go back. Than this? I mean, I don't mind the composition of this, but I think the actual art is better here. It's like the same Commander dude too. All right. I disagree with their choice. I also like the original Steeplechase art, this one, that they didn't use. Or, yeah, Steeplechase. Evelyn Sato on the art of Atari. Graphic designer Evelyn Sato was among the few Atari employees to work in both coin-op and consumer divisions. In this interview, she recalls designing arcade marquees, creating the Atari 2600 retail packaging, and inking the iconic Fuji logo itself. Oh, wow. All right, let's check it out.
My name is Evelyn Cito. I was a graphic designer at Atari, both in the coin-operated division and the consumer division. I majored in graphic design when I was in college, and when I finished, I went back to LA and helped in my family's business, which was a restaurant business. And when I returned, a friend of mine was working at Opera in Harrington, and she was moving on to another position. And so she had me interview with George Opperman, and I was able to come on board on his staff as a production artist. During that time, which is when I started with George, it was the early 70s, and Silicon Valley was just barely a term that was barely coming up. Nolan Bushnell had his company Syzygy, a gaming company, and he needed to change the name of the company. George Farraco, one of his colleagues, suggested that he speak to George. opperman. So I remember them coming in, and George he took on the assignment of redesigning the logo for Syzygy. And they gave him the name Atari. And so, I remember George doodling on his desk. Yeah, he was just doing little doodles, and from there, he maybe selected a few of them to show Nolan, and they picked the one that they did, which is the one with the Fuji and the Atari. And back then, everything was done by hand. There was no computers. Everything was you had to ink, and you had to spec type and order type, and then paste it all up on a board. So yeah, everything was kind of handcrafted back then. And so yeah, that was my first position, was with George doing production art. And so once they decided on which one they were going to do, I got the assignment of ordering the type and inking the Fuji. So that was my first jobs in working with Atari, was to ink that Fuji. Nolan liked names that started with A's because they were at the front of the alphabet. And because also at the time Pong was our main product, the main product. Now George says he liked the idea of it sweeping because the Pong blip would sweep, right? So that's George's. There are people who attribute that to George. George Farago doesn't believe that was true. But so I honestly don't know where it came from, because obviously he didn't tell me. He just said, "Here, ink this up." So part of it is probably an A, and part of it is the sweep. It's probably all of that could be true. So whatever it was, it's definitely stood the test of time. And he picked the hairy type font for the Atari, and I think that's actually stood the test of time as well. Shortly after that, I left George, so that was like in '71, and I left in '72. And so George probably continued working with Atari at the time. I had moved on to another company, and in 1976, George called me and told me he was giving up his company, and he was going to go inside at Atari and become their full-time art director. And he needed an assistant, and asked me if I would be interested in doing that. I kind of thought of it as a placeholder, actually. I wasn't sure how long I would do this, and not being that familiar with the company. But anyway, I said, okay, So we were in this little cubby hole. Our two desks were facing each other. And basically, we had a drawing board each, and George was doing all the graphics and all the advertising and whatever that was required. George himself was an illustrator as well as a designer, as well as a marketing guy, as well as a copywriter. So he would write all the copy, and he would write all the promotional materials for Atari. So he was an in-house advertising agency. Because I wasn't an illustrator, so the things that didn't require illustration, I would work on some of those, or I would collaborate with one of the illustrators. I might come up with a concept, and then one of the illustrators would design the graphic for me, like in Superbug or in Golf. Bob Flamani was the artist on those particular pieces, and so but the concept of how it looked, the general concept might be mine, but then I would basically have the illustrator do it, which is not unusual because a lot of graphic designers are not illustrators. I worked on Superbug, I worked on Fire Truck, which was a 2-man game. And see, because those graphics I could deal with, they weren't, it didn't require me to illustrate a person or an animal, so I could do graphic things, but I wasn't able to do illustrations. And I did do football, and or the soccer game that was created from that. And then when Atari got into pinball, I worked on a concept for the Wonder Woman pinball game. And that didn't require me to be such a conceptual illustrator, because I already had reference material to work with in terms of the comic series. And so eventually we grew to a staff of about eight people. And we had a production artist, but George was still doing all the advertising and the brochures and all the marketing materials for any of the games that came up. And so eventually the company grew, and I stayed there for a couple of years, and ultimately decided that I had an opportunity to go. In 1977, Atari was already working on the consumer video game system. And I had heard about it but didn't know a whole lot about it. I got asked if I would like to join the consumer group. And so I went ahead and did that. And that's where I felt at home, because then I can focus on graphic design more than illustration. That was a great opportunity for me to really focus on branding. They were starting to introduce some other game systems, and so they wanted to figure out how to market it, and we wanted to take a look at what kind of packaging design do we want to go with, because at the time the VCS system was a black background with little vignettes of game players and parents and screen grabs of some of the video games. And so we decided to take a look at what we could do with it. The video computer system was sort of a generic name, and so we decided to maybe focus on blowing up the name Atari. So we made some mock-ups to do that. Basically, on a product shelf, you've got 3 seconds to grab somebody's attention. We banded the box with Atari with the number of the game system, and we created some packaging and took it to a store to see how it would stand up next to the competition. And at the time, Odyssey was out, Magnavox, Coleco. There were other game systems out there, and they were similar in design to what we had already created. So we took it to a store and took some photographs, and with the other competition in the background, it was clear that the Atari, branding big was the way to go. It's like, hello, why didn't we think of that sooner? but obviously somebody didn't think of it before we did. And then at the same time, I think Star Wars came out, and so we thought, well, gee, the space age was coming about, and so maybe we should look at, maybe color isn't the way to go. So they wanted to see what else we could do to make it look more space agey. So we came up with the silver concept of the packaging, and ultimately that's the way we went. At the time, our cartridge boxes were all real colorful and rainbow. The rainbow stripe seemed to be sophisticated enough and give it some color. And so from that, I thought it went underneath the silver band on all the boxes, so it seemed to work for that. And I think that was sort of a nod to the fact that, okay, we still have, the rainbow was sort of a nod to all the color boxes. The Fuji's always stayed there, and I think the typefaces always stay there. Although some people have played around with the typeface a little bit, but you can't change it. It's a classic.
Like, when are we going to get a ColecoVision? I had a friend, I don't maybe even remember if it was the same friend. It might have been, but I definitely had a friend who had, a ColecoVision and an Intellivision. I played that as a kid at some people's houses. I'm not sure exactly who. And I remember thinking, especially with ColecoVision, I remember thinking that it looked better. I specifically remember Smurfs and really liking the Smurfs game, but I think I'd like to revisit ColecoVision someday. That'd be cool. Evelyn Sato, then Evelyn Lim in Atari's art department circa late 1970s. What you got around here? What's that thing behind her, that cone thing? I wonder how many women were actually in this office. There couldn't have been many. A team effort. Evelyn Sato, George Opperman, and Bob Flemente review back glass artwork from the 1977 Atari pinball machine Airborne Avenger. Sprint 2. At work with Atari, Evelyn Sato's early 1980s workspace at Atari was decorated with some of her packaging designs. This is pretty blurry. Box art concepts. One concept art explored for its retail design included a grid design, and Evelyn created concept art for matching cartridge boxes. The grid concept was ultimately employed on a handful of family-friendly 2600 titles late in the console's life. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Alternate Atari logos. Atari's art department, led by George Opperman, created several options for the Atari logo before landing on the now iconic Fuji logo. Some of these concepts built upon the company's earlier name, Syzygy Engineering. I hate that name, Syzygy. I think it sucks. Look at these logos. Very true that this is such a good logo, though. This is a really good logo. It doesn't look quite... It's probably just my eyes. To me, like where the curves hit and the distances and stuff, it looks off a little bit. Like it doesn't look completely even on the left and the right, but you know, whatever. I don't know. Atari 3200. Evelyn Sato's design concept are a refreshed Atari 2600 retail box, as well as the never issued 3200 and 3600 Super System, which became the Atari 5200. Now, I do like these boxes. There's the grid. I guess that's just fake words there. What do you call that in advertising or whatever? They just put the fake. There's like a fake language. I don't remember the name of it. Packaging. Evelyn Sato designed the silver packaging for the Atari 2600 and 5200, creating a bold and simple visual distinction between the Atari's offerings on store shelves. Yeah. It's nice, though. Like, you know, red, blue. It looks like it goes together, but it, you know, I like it. It's good design. Voice controller boxes, a co-creation of toy manufacturer Milton Bradley. The Atari 2600 voice controller never materialized, but Evelyn conceptualized boxes for two of its planned titles, Star Raiders and Baseball. I guess so. Bridge from arcade to home. Enjoying success both in arcade and at home, Atari combined the two by converting its own arcade hits for the VCS. What's more, it licensed coin-op competitors like Space Invaders, Defender, and Berserk as exclusive offerings for its home machines, helping Atari maintain market leadership for years. Berserk. As pinball's popularity waned, manufacturers like Bally, Gottlieb, and Stern expanded their scope to offer video arcade games as well. Stern Electronics' Berserk, which trapped players in endless mazes of killer robots, became the company's biggest video hit. I do like Berserk. Berserk features some of the first synthesized speech heard in arcades, from enemy robots crowing, "Got the humanoid, got the intruder," to taunting losing players with "Chicken, fight like a robot," As a lone human in a maze of killer androids, the player is kept in a state of tension by the claustrophobic-inducing levels, while procedurally generated mazes keep every game fresh. Here, hold on a sec. All right, let's see. What are we? State of tension, cost for blanking. The arcade version. I had the 2600 version of Berserk. It was one of my favorite ones. Whoa, wait, hold on. Loud, loud, loud. So if I remember the first level, they don't fire back. And that, if I remember correctly, that dude is Evil Otto. You also can't touch the walls. I was not. Come on. All right, let me try again. Hold on. Wait. You might just be able to leave. I don't know if you have to kill all the enemies, but you do get a bonus for it. But, boom. Whoa. No, I had one good. Yeah, they die if they touch each other too, and sometimes they do touch the walls.
Attack the humanoid. The humanoid must not escape. Attack it. Shoot the humanoid. Humanoid. Intruder alert. Intruder alert.
No, 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 no. It's hard. Like, look how fast the bullets are. All right. That's a good game. But this, do we have the 2600 version? That's the one promotional flyer. Berserk's robotic voice yelling intruder alert and coin detected in pocket. In arcade, coin detected in pocket. That's pretty good. In arcades, taunted passing players. Berserk's promotional flyer notes that game contains 30 phrases and 64,000 randomly generated mazes. The answer is on the back. Get the humanoid. Intruder alert. The answer's on the back. What does that mean? 64,000 mazes, Claybird. You'll really flip over this game too, it says upside down. 64,000 possible mazes. Humanoid avoids robots by manipulating joystick and destroys robots by firing weapon. Evil Auto, an indestructible force, appears randomly on screen to pursue the destroy humanoid. Destroy humanoid. He must be avoided at all costs. Evil Auto. The Battles of Berserk. From an arcade hit to a fantastic home port, Berserk's legacy is filled with danger, action, and at least one disturbing urban legend. All right, let's hear about this. I assume we get to play. Wait. Where's the Atari 26? Oh, there it is. There. Okay.
The main theme of Berserk, as I understand it, and as I've always understood it, is basically you're one of the last humans trying to escape this prison inhabited by robots. Because there's this character in the game called Evil Auto, and he bounces at you with this smiley face, but it's so sinister because all he's really trying to do is just pulverize you to like nothing. And he comes at you so aggressively. Even back in the day, the story got around really fast that somebody died playing Berserk.
The rumblings of rumors when it got out, like, oh my gosh, someone died while playing Berserk. They must have, I don't know if the game shot back at them. I don't know what happened.
And I think that added to the mystique of the game, because could this game kill you? But in reality, as far as I understand, it was somebody who actually had a heart condition who happened to be playing Berserk when an episode occurred, but that, of course, got embellished to this game will kill you.
I remember Berserk coming out for the 2600, and I was very impressed. The characters were very simple, but moved exactly like the arcade. The gameplay was great. I thought it was one of the great Atari cartridges, up there with Space Invaders in that time frame of arcade ports.
One of my favorite games on the 2600 happened to be Berserk. I thought it was really well produced. It didn't look like other Atari games where they flickered a lot. The characters were really solid. Everything looked great, and it was a really great representation of the arcade game.
Yeah, the gameplay was well tweaked, which is not given the credibility that it should. The amount of tweaking that gameplay requires to make it excellent game, to make a truly great game, it's unappreciated.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When I was learning, or basically teaching myself how to program the Atari 2600, as one does, I started to dabble with audio, and I had seen
maybe that's a little better
replicated synthesized voice on the 2600, and so that kind of occurred to me that it would be really cool to take that approach and that concept and apply it to Berserk to have the perfect version of Berserk for the Atari 2600. That set in motion my desire to just like pursue relentlessly putting voice into 2600 Berserk. And then my understanding of the arcade game is there's a specific speech synthesis chip that was used for the game. And to compare that to the 2600, there's no such thing on the 2600. And so in order to get speech to even sound similar to that chip, you have to apply all of Atari 2600's resources to it. So in order to get the sample to play back fast enough, you have to do things like don't display the screen. So the screen goes black so you can get a cleaner and more audible sound out of the processor, the sound processor. Some of the changes that I had applied to the game early on were mostly palette related and some graphical changes. Also added a title screen. I always felt that like later Atari 2600 games that had title screens were really cool, so I wanted to feel like those. But ultimately that was where my work ended. But then the community hopped in after that release, and Dennis DeBro particularly found out by disassembling the game that there was actually code for the robots to shoot diagonally like in the arcade game. I found it fascinating that after I dabbled a little bit with Berserk, to watch other people go in and find all these other things within the source code that I missed completely, and started to apply that to like what would become ultimately Berserk Voice Enhanced.
I mean, hopefully that's a little bit better. I don't think I looked. We can actually remember word Berserk options. I looked in here. Yeah, this is all the options there are. So there's no, the problem is that the game audio is quite a bit louder. We'll see what happens here. So like when I play a game, I don't want people to be blasted, you know? On April 3rd, 1982, an 18-year-old Peter Bukowski played Berserk at Friar Tuck's game room in Calumet City, Illinois, then collapsed and died shortly thereafter. Coroners determined an undiagnosed heart condition was to blame for his passing, not Evil Otto. Facts cannot stop urban legends. 18 years old. Frenzy, the sequel to Berserk. Frenzy delivers new enemies and an interesting change in terrain. Some walls can be destroyed, while other walls ricochet shots, meaning the players can actually shoot themselves. The sequel to Berserk offers more panic and paranoia as human players struggle to survive a never-ending labyrinth of deadly robots and electrified walls. To innovate for the sequel, some of those walls reflect the player's shots, while others can be partially destroyed, creating new escape routes. All right, hopefully this isn't too loud. We'll see.
Robot attack.
Get run! I was trying to escape Evil Otto, you know. Whoa. This is dangerous. What?
Robot attack.
Ridiculous.
Robot attack.
Oh, come on. All right, let me give it one more go here because I feel like I can get past the first level. Just gotta be aware of those bounce spots. You can secretly just smash dudes through the walls here and they can't get to you.
Robot attack.
This guy's... There we go. Skeletons have laser beam eyes. It's typical skeleton behavior, though. Look at them smashing each other. just leave? Oh, everyone's dead anyway. I wish there were subtitles, actually. I think that's what's sort of missing on the sound. How's the sound in the game? It seems loud when I look at this. When I look at the thingies. When I look at the bars. Yeah. I think I got to put it back and we just got to live with the volume on the videos or whatever. I'm sorry about that. I mean, I wish there was a better way. I wish. Promotional flyer. Frenzy's flyer notes that while Evil Otto is still indestructible in the sequel to Berserk, 3 bullets will stun him, giving the player a chance to escape. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, these are just all the distributors. If Evil Otto is shot, Mama Otto frowns and sends 4 baby Evil Ottos to attack. If they score, she smiles. Power factory, computer room. There are two types. The purple walls can be shot away to create an easy exit, and white walls are reflective, so the player can be killed by his own ricocheting bullets. Because Evil Otto, you couldn't kill him in the first one either. Bringing arcade hits home became a critical element of Atari VCS's success. Stern Arcade's hit Berserker, programmed for the home by Dan Hitchens, became one of the console's most visually accurate translations. Yeah, I remember this art and everything. And there's even a screenshot because it looked so good. While the 2600 version of Berserk lacks the famous speech samples of its arcade inspiration, its programmer Dan Hitchens captured the look and feel of the coin-op exceptionally well. Unlike in the arcade version, players can actually destroy the bouncing smiley face Evil Otto in certain modes. Alright, we gotta play... We gotta play Invincible Evil Otto, right? So we can have an accurate version of the... This was the game that I played a lot. Ooh. This is one of my favorite 2600 games. I love the eyes. Comes out pretty quick, doesn't he? Go. You seem to move faster on the diagonal. And like that buddy said on the video, it looks like they can't shoot diagonally, although they can in the arcade game. Oh, I got a free life though, extra life. Okay, can you just leave? Yeah, you can. You just don't get a bonus. Well, this is the original Berserk for the 2600. But he was talking about they did a let's go back. I don't know if it's in here. it is in this game, like in the like in the game library at the top, but I don't know if it's going to show up here, cover art. But they did a version of Berserk with like diagonal shots and speech and stuff much later. I like this art, by the way. Look at that robot in the back. And he's getting blasted. Man, this art here, I have a, in my brain, it is etched in my brain. Like I remember all these little bits. I remember that, like the little pieces coming off there and that dude in the back with the one eye. I remember all of that. Original artwork. Artist Hiro Kimura created this ominous scene of Evil Otto commanding an army of relentless robots. It was used inside the Berserk instruction manual. Yeah, look at that. Welcome to Mazion. This ad from Atari Age magazine promoting Berserk's home release notes that the game's action takes place on the planet Mazion, where pulse-pounding danger waits around every corner. Playing the angles. Among the excellent reader-submitted strategies for Berserk in this page from Atari Age, Art Collins notes that Evil Otto cannot catch players if they run away diagonally. Yeah, I would just... That's exactly what I was saying. The bow tie trick. When a robot fires at you, if you are in the right place so that your neck is lined up... Oh, I remember this too. The shot can go through you. Like, your little dude... His neck is not connected to his body, and the shot can go through his neck. I remember that. I realized the robots don't fire another laser until the last one they fired goes off the screen. So that means that after the robot fires at you, you can go right next to the robot and blast him. Always run away from Evil Otto diagonally. This way he cannot catch up to you. Also try to go in and out from the bottom and top exits. They're much safer than the left and right ones. Probably because they're closer. They're far. You don't have as far to go. Voice enhanced. Determined to make the 2600 version of Berserk even more arcade accurate, programmer Mike Micah adds speech to the game while also adjusting the colors to better match the coin-op. Originally released in 2002, the version presented here is Mike's final version. Driven by the desire to be more accurately replicate Berserk's robot blasting presentation from the arcades, Dennis Debro and Mike Micah's enhanced edition includes speech, more accurate arcade colors, enemies that shoot diagonally, and a few squashed bugs for good measure. The left difficulty switch toggles voice on and off. Imagine if this had come out with voice. I guess I picked the non-Evil Otto version. See if we can get one to line up with my neck. Go through my neck. See how far you have to go? Well, I guess... Yeah, see, the left and right ones are going to be further away. So I guess that's what they mean. All right, let's see if we can get this guy to fire at me. Whoop, not that guy. Can we just lure him? I'm just leaving. No, not quite. It's hard, but there is a perfect spot to get it go through your neck. Though I'm pretty sure I remember that. Look how fast you can fire. Do they not shoot diagonally? They must still shoot diagonally, right? Ah, hit my head on the wall. Oh yeah, they do. Oh, what? You can't start like that. How many lives do I have? All right, that's it. I can't believe they started a robot right on top of me. That's not right. Berserk. Unlike its 2600 counterpart, the Atari 5200 version of Berserk retained the arcade's voice catchphrases, making this the first 5200 game to offer speech synthesis. Voice feature requires no additional hardware. With more powerful hardware, the 5200 version of Berserk was able to retain the speech synthesis of the coin-op counterpart. The gameplay remains relentless, as human players blast robots in single-screen mazes only to escape into another room filled with even deadlier enemies. I'll just smash it into each other. It's really finicky. It's really finicky. Look how fast they shoot. Oh, what? He blew... Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I will say the game freezes when the speech happens, though. I don't know how I feel about that. didn't mean to touch it. All right, that's Berserk. Berserk's a good game. The 5200 version is pretty good as well. Is the original artwork for Berserk. The original box art for Berserk on Atari 5200 created by Hiro Kimura. Looks like he did all the Berserk stuff. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. What do we have left here? Oh, we got a lot left. All right. I think, unfortunately, I gotta go. I got a call. And I gotta take care of some stuff. Oh, man. I was gonna keep going, but I don't know. Maybe when I come back, I don't know. We'll see. Depends how long I'm gone. I will have to... I don't know why it says 100% explored right away there. Berserk. Yeah, I know. I want to keep going, but I gotta do some stuff. I wasn't planning on. So, we'll see when I come back. Maybe I can stream a little bit later, but it's already 1 o'clock, so I don't know. Anyway, I'll be back eventually for more Atari, and we'll eventually finish off the wider world of Atari. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Sorry to cut it short. I'll be back next time for more.